Typically, we have anywhere between 10 and 12 ambulances on the street in New Orleans on any given day at peak hours. At the time that the police department's getting the call, we're also getting the call. So we're dispatching with police. The process begins as soon as you can see the patient, you start triaging in your head, and you're just evaluating what they're doing. And so if in a case of a shooting, you're going to get there, you're going to look at the patient. Is there any active bleeding? So is there anything that's bleeding externally that I can stop? If they get hit in the femoral artery and there's blood everywhere from the leg, they're going to hold pressure and they're going to apply a tourniquet immediately. Over the past 15 years or so, unfortunately, of war, military medicine has really changed how we deal with a lot of these critically injured trauma patients, from the initial, what we call the platinum 10 minutes, so the first 10 minutes of injury, to the golden hour, to getting them to a trauma center. And so we've taken a lot of that and applied that in civilian medicine. That includes things like tourniquets. That includes things like combat gauze or hemostatic dressing, so dressing that are impregnated with something that helps stop bleeding in places where you can't put a tourniquet. That means using less IV fluids in the field. If someone's bleeding and they have an injury that's caused them to bleed and lose a lot of blood, traditionally what we did is we pumped them full of saline. And so really we were giving them a bunch of salt water. And their blood pressure would look better because it would bring their blood pressure up. It would make us feel good because they now had a better blood pressure, but it really wasn't helping the actual problem, which was the fact that they lost blood and they had less oxygen capacity to deliver oxygen to their tissues, which is what blood does for us. Between what we do in our resuscitation, getting them to the emergency department and continuing that resuscitation in the emergency department, and for the ones that need to, getting them to the operating room is really how you save someone's life. And so we see all kinds of wounds. Typically, we see a lot of handgun wounds. Occasionally, we'll see rifle wounds, which are typically much more damaging, just a larger caliber bullet, a lot more force behind it, and all the physics that go into that with a rifle round. But we really, we see it, and what's out there we take care of. I wouldn't say anything's really changed with what we see. I will tell you that what's changed is how we take care of them.